Okay, good morning. So we're doing Shin Chav Zayin today. Dinei Sicha b'Shabbos, anointing using oil on Shabbos. Says the Mechaber, Hachoshish b'Moslem, someone who's got a stomachache, lo yasuch shemen v'chemes. He shouldn't apply oil or vinegar to him. Avulsachu shemen levada. But he can just do oil because that's Michael Brim. He can't do anything which is refuah, which is shemen v'chemes. We'll see more in the Mishnah Berurah. But just to put oil on. That would be okay. But not this type of rose oil. Because then it will be very evident that he's doing it the Shem Refuah. But if he's in a place where Shemen Vered, this rose oil is used a lot, and people use it even not the Shem Refuah, then mutter, that would be okay. Says the Ramah, but if people only apply oil on themselves, so Refuah b'chol shemen also, then all types of oil will be also. Says the Mishnah Berurah, shemen v'chometz hatam de'en derech losuch b'shtein yachad el refuah. People would only use the both, i.e., oil and vinegar, if it was refuah, and that's why it's not allowed. V'chol mili do the refuah also rabon, and anything which is for refuah chazal asad. Gezeira mishum shchika samonim, you might come to grind spices. The also min atayra mishum teichen, which would be awesome in Atera because of grinding. Which is the next simon. V'da, the bigger Saseinu b'Mishnah v'chein b'Rabbeinu Chanan v'Rif Rambam is a yayin v'chometz. It's not shemen v'chometz, but yayin v'chometz. V'hainu afilu be'echol mehem, because either one of the two, either yayin or chometz, is done with shem refuah, and therefore is not allowed. But shemen levadoi would be okay. But if you want, you're feeling stressed and you want to have some baby oil or something like that put on you, then that would be okay. And therefore, even if you're doing it, if you have a massage, a gentle massage would be allowed, because that's Michael Brim. So massage and that sort of thing, we'll talk about Mr. Shem in the next simon. But Lamaisa would be okay, according to everyone, to have a gentle massage on Shabbos. The Mukha Milsa, because what was that going on? The Mukha Milsa, the refuah kavod, yeah, because if not with shemen vered, because that's clearly you're doing it with the shem refuah. Shedom of your current, it's the expensive oil. Ve'ein adam soch isa el refuah. People only do it for refuah purposes. V'chol mili the refuah also v'chanal. V'afilu adei in Yehudi, even to get a non-Jewish person to do it for you, also mischazik v'holich kabari uchad lekam b'simin shin chav ches. Even if he's mischazik v'holich kabari, I mean, that means even if he's walking around healthily. What?
So they make him strong.
I see. Even if it has that benefit, I see. Even if it has mischazik him and he's going to make him walk around more healthily, then still it's still not allowed. Okay, b'chol shemen also, and there are those who say b'chol shemen is also because it's clear for its refuah. And therefore, if you've got sores on your scalp, it would not be allowed to do it, because that's l'shum refuah. V'chenim yesh b'in nefech, or some sort of swell, a bruise or something, b'chol makom shehu also losuch b'shemen b'medinaseinu. V'chel v'shumen also b'chol makom. Now we're talking about a liquid oil, but to use some sorts of fat is definitely also mishum denitach v'nimas havinoilad, because you're transforming it from a solid into a liquid. V'chodelel b'simen shin chavov sif yud b'hagon, and therefore you've got a noilad problem. Okay. Says the Mechaber, base. So you're allowed to have a massage, sochin, to rub and to sort of massage for a person's hana alidei shinui. Dainu shesochin mashmish biyachad, sort of applying you're sort of rubbing and applying at the same time. V'loi mashmish b'koyach, but not to do it too vigorously. Ela b'rifya in your dime, a bit more loosely, a bit more gently. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Hainu shesochin b'shemen, i.e., you put a bit of oil on, and then you massage b'yad al kol haguf lahana. V'alidei shinui, i.e., mikfi harogelas is b'chol, a bit differently to the way you do it normally during the week. Shein darka oz lo sochel mashish b'yachad. There you wouldn't do it to get simultaneously. B'koyach, who often dechol. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's Shittas Rashi, that the problem is Uvdin Dechol. A sort of a heavy massage, a sort of a professional massage, is a problem of Uvdin Dechol, according to Rashi, and according to the Rambam. Mr. will get to it in Shin Chav Ches. The problem is lahazia. It's a sort of exercise and things like that. It will cause you to sweat, which is a problem. ואין לכם בסימן שינכופכי membase. מה שכתבנו שם בהלכה לרמב"ם מותר כל שאין מכוון לא ויעצמה על ידי זיה. There you go. על ידי זיה. So according to the Rambam, the problem is zia. It will cause you to sweat, but according to Rashi, it's uvdin dechol. But therefore, either way, if you have a gentle, soft massage, it's not a problem because that was not uvdin dechol and it's not going to get you to be mazia. Gimel. Okay, shinchof zayin is siif gimel. Ein megardin, you mustn't scrape bekli ha'asui lekach elim kein ha'yodav v'raglav metunofes batit v'tzeh. You can't scrape off things from your body like oil or use like a scraper unless you're covered with dirt. That would be allowed. Says the Mishnah Berurah, but it's like a weekday type of activity. That's like a professional type of massage or something like that. Then apparently they use these type of scrapers. But kli avul yochel lagar biyodov al habasa, you can use your hand. But be careful not to cause any damage. Any wound. Also, now the whole problem is udin dechol, and therefore, if you've got a special designated one for Shabbos, it will be allowed. Because of Magen Avram, the mizeh nagua basulas lios lahem kli misach chazir amiyuchad l'Shabbos. They have a special comb made out of pig's hair for Shabbos. To sule mechzik udin dechol, because it's no longer, it's a special Shabbos brush, and therefore there's no udin dechol. Va'ayin le'el b'soif siman shin gimel, but Mishnah Berurah, the gam b'zeh in amuta ki im lesakin by ma'at es asaras lashkivam. You can't comb your hair regularly on Shabbos. You can just sort of place the hair gently. It's like a psik ratio that your hair is going to come out. Then it would no longer be uvdin. And generally speaking, that's what you see. You can buy now like a Shabbos hairbrush, a special one for Shabbos. So it's a very soft one that it won't pull the hair out. And so long as it doesn't pull the hair out, and there's no shad uvdin dechol. When it comes to toothbrush, there's a big discussion whether you can brush teeth on Shabbos. You can't use toothpaste, and if you use liquid, and if you've got it, but Rabbi says there are 9 issues, and he knocks away each one. And one of the issues, if I'm not mistaken, if one of the issues is uvdin dechol, because it's a weekday activity, and therefore, if you have a designated Shabbos toothbrush, then it's okay. And you use not toothbrush, but you use like what's it called, a special liquidy type one. You can buy it from Israel, like in a green bottle. Have you seen that? Anyway, a mouthwash, yeah. So you mouthwash in, and then you just brush it with a special, and as long as it doesn't cause bleeding and things like that.
Like the normal bristles.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't cause bleeding. Okay, let's finish off. Dalet. Lo yasach raglei b'shemen. So you're not allowed to put oil on your foot. V'hu b'soicha minal oya sandal, and it's in a shoe or it's in some sort of sandal. Hachadoshim. Because that softens the leather. Ibud is one of the melachas. What you can do is you can put the oil on your foot and then you put it into the shoe. But you can't put it onto your foot when it's still in the shoe because that's too similar to ma'abed. That's part of the tanning process. You're softening the leather. And so if you want to soften some leather, you can put some oil on your body and then you can roll in the leather and that would be okay. So long as you haven't put so much oil on that there's going to be a shear of kadei la'abed, the leather. Even if it sort of smooths it up, that would still be allowed. As long as that's not your intention. Says the Mishnah Berurah Yud Beis, Lo Yasuch, Dihine. Ibud ha'ar hu echad me'avos melachos. Being ma'abed, the ar, preparing it after you've skinned the animal, and you're preparing it, that's one of the 39 melachos. Ve'ibud hu imelech es ha'ar, you either salt the leather, or use other chemicals. V'chein im deris ha'ar b'ragle, or you tread on it, that now becomes harder. You use your hand to sort of manipulate and to soften it. That's how the tanners, the leather workers do that. So then you'd be chayiv for that. Ma'abed is that process of working the leather to make it usable. And so too, if you pour oil onto the skin, onto the ur, that also softens it. That's part of the ibud process, and it's not allowed. You're chayiv. And therefore, you've got to be careful not to apply oil to a new shoe because that will soften it, and therefore it's caught by ma'abed. There's a chiyuv for this. Even an old shoe. The Chaim says it would be a deraisa. V'yesh oisin agam b'minal yoshin, even an old shoe. Or v'prap is manazet, and ifishi amaretz v'yavo lehakol gam b'chadoshim. That I guess the old shoe is more of a gezerah, but Amiratzim might come along and see and think it's okay, and they'll do it for Chadoshim, which could be an Isudaraisa. And certainly, if your intention is to make the shoe black, you got another problem, and that is tzviyah. That's why you can't polish shoes on Shabbos. There's a problem of tzviyah. Let's go back to our topic of ma'abed. The mishum isa ibud also gamkein la'odom she is sabi validei pulosa she is rachik ha'or v'lochin also losuch ragla. And therefore the issue is to put oil on your foot whilst it's in the shoe to soften the leather is not allowed. Hachadoshim the biyashanim su'ein by mishum chashash ibud, because once you've got a good old leather shoe, we're not worried about ibud anymore because it's worn and there's no shaila of ibud. Avol soch, but what you can do is you can put the oil onto your shoe and then later put your foot into the shoe. Because at the time of applying the oil, it wasn't applied directly onto the earth. If you put so much oil onto your body and then you roll in the leather, then inevitably you're going to be ma'abed the leather, and that's not allowed. Even to sort of shine it, make it shine. Also, if your intention is to roll in the leather and or to do it like that would certainly be also. Because it's a bit too close to ibud. For kol shekain heichashim meisheach haminol b'shemen, and certainly if you pour oil onto the shoe, afilu mashemen muot, even if it's a little bit of oil, or mechaven rak kadei lesachzcha, and your intention is just to make it polish and to shine it, also. Viskin, which is some sort of shoe polish. She calls it mishchas na'alaim. Kospa sefer teres yisrael. Zimoisa afilu adein Yehudi also ad le'erev b'chtei shiyasu. If you get a non-Jewish person to polish your shoes for you on Shabbos, then it's also to wear it even b'chtei shiyaseh. The time it took to polish, you got to wait half an hour, whatever it took. Motzei Shabbos. V'da, the le'inyan chiyuv chatzas be'ibud, v'chein in hafshotos ha'er, who gamkein melacha deraisa. These are all melachas deraisas, and therefore you got to be very careful. Dimu yesh by shir kedeilas kamiya. If you apply some oil onto a small bit of leather, enough leather you could make an amulet. So it's a very small piece of leather. Well, then that's enough to be chayiv. Well, in isura afiluk bekolshu, and for midrabanan even a smaller amount. Hamafarik duchsustus me'al haklaf. If you separate, there's the inner leather and the outer leather. Duchsustus uchelek ha'or al tzarabos. So that's the parts of the leather. When you flay the animal and you take the skin off, there is two parts to the skin, the part which is nearer the flesh and the part which is on the outside. So the duchsustus is the chelek which is al tzad habosa, which is against the skin, the flesh of the animal. Uklaf hu chelek shel tzad hasoir, which is on the outside, which has got the hair on it. Harihim told us, if you separate the two, this is a tolda of mafshit, which is one of the 39 melachas of hafshot, is skinning the animal, and therefore if you separate the two leathers, that's also caught by all of this. Okay, Mr. Shem, that's the end of Shin Chov Zayin. Mr. will carry on with Choyle b'Shabbos, which is Shin Chov Ches, which is a very important and relevant siman, which deals with refuah on Shabbos. Mr. Hashem, we should all be well, and it should be a theoretical discussion.